Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Pineapple Headache with
Madison.
and Christienne. Thank you for listening to yet another episode of Pineapple Headache. So today's topic.
Ink. Getting inked up.
Me and Madison signed some very important papers with ink.
Yes, we did.
That's what we mean by inked up.
Our marriage certificate.
Oh.
And then we will soon be signing the divorce papers.
Oh, okay. I was talking about the prenup, but you went straight into divorce papers. Okay. Reason of divorce, we just want to be friends.
When you get married and then you're like, actually, I need to friend zone you. You know, as happens.
I don't know anyone who that has happened to, but
we'll be the first.
Okay, but no, we were I don't know if you could tell, but we were just joking. But we're actually going to be talking about a different ink, and that is the ink that you inject into your skin.
The COVID vaccine. Obviously.
I hope there's no ink in the COVID vaccine.
Isn't it like...
But there are microchips. There's a tracker.
It rewrites your... Oh, okay.
No. There's the tracker.
It writes the instructions for your cells.
Oh, okay. No. The tracker.
The 5G?
No, so I can use my Find iPhone app to track where you are if you don't have your phone.
Yeah, isn't that 5G? Like, I hold my phone up to my arm, and then it, like, is like...
Oh,
beep,
yeah,
boop, boop.
Your personal hotspot.
And then my arm throbs, and I'm like, whoa. I can feel the 5G
And then you
waves.
see, like, a light. You see, like, a light blinking on your arm.
Yeah. And then, like, when I see my cat, because he has a tracker chip in his neck, it, like, they communicate. The devices communicate with each other.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were going to say you see a light in Queso's neck, and I was going to be like, oh, is that how a tracker works? He has,
like, the kitty, like, how pets just always have the chips, as they say. Wait, wasn't Freddy in iCarly, wasn't he chipped, too?
Yes, I was looking this up recently because I had watched iCarly. I had binged iCarly about, like, 2 months ago.
Did you look up if you can chip humans?
No, because do you know how, like, Freddy, like, will randomly just speak Spanish, and I'm like,
oh yeah, I always thought it was that.
I'm like, he's not Hispanic, is he? Said I looked it up, and he's like white. So I was like, okay, well, why does he speak Spanish? So I end up on, like, the like the iCarly wiki or whatever.
The fan wiki, yeah.
Yeah, and then it said that a Venezuelan doctor put the chip into Freddy as, instructed by his mom, but apparently it malfunctioned, so now Freddy will just speak Spanish at times.
Is this canon? Was this explicitly said in an episode?
I don't think it was ever said. That's what it said on the wiki.
Oh my god. Yeah, I always thought that was just part of his, like, gimmick, where everybody would be like, something, and then he's just like, Espanol, and I was like, okay. West Coast, like, I mean, I don't know about in Seattle. They're in Seattle, so I don't know why. If they're in California, I guess I'd be like, I guess.
Seattle is, like, on the border of Canada. I mean, like, I there could still be Spanish-speaking people.
He should be saying stuff in French, because they speak French in Canada. I mean, that's not French. That's not the French-Canadian part of Canada, but French is, like, the second biggest language, I think, in Canada. Like, Quebec and all that stuff.
The French land. Yeah. But the colonies, the French commonwealths, that type of thing.
Yes, that stuff. So maybe that's we got chipped.
We drove away too far from the point. Anyway,
that was a very long bit.
Today we're going to be talking about tattoos because me and Madison respectively each got one.
Yes. All the scandalous, shocked gasps when you hear that.
I know. My gosh. I don't think my parents are listening to this podcast, but, like, gasp.
Yeah, but what is your prediction for when they see it?
I wasn't going to, like, explicitly be like, here's my new tattoo. I was just gonna wait for them to say something, like, notice.
Let it marinate a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, because it is rather expensive to remove the tattoos, and also,
it's really painful too, I think.
Yeah, so it's like, there's more harm in doing that than just letting it be there.
Shoot you with, like, this laser beam thing. I saw a TikTok of it once. It sounded and looked very painful.
Okay, so me and Madison got tattoos.
We are so bad at
And
telling stories, just like here's beginning, middle, and end. It's just let's
I
jump
know.
all over.
I know. Where to begin? Well, did you ever want a tattoo? Like, how long has it been for you? Like,
Wanting
having the
one.
thought of like, I would want to get tattoo. Yeah.
So the tattoo I ended up getting, which are we, or should we explain what tattoos we got, or leave that to the end? I don't know how to organize this
No, I know.
story.
Explain. No, you have
Okay,
to
okay. So I
explain it
got
because you're gonna describe the process
well,
when you
okay. So
got
I
it.
got like Pikachu's head, like his face, on my inner wrist, on my left hand. Not my left hand, but my left arm. So, and that was a tattoo I first thought of in like 2017. I think it was during our sophomore year of school. It's like based on the specific image of Pikachu that they use for like all the Pokemon social media pages, like the profile picture, because I really like the art style, and I was like, oh, that could like make a good like simple tattoo. And then I was like, oh, and then I could like put it on my wrist, so then it's like right there, and I can always look, and then he's like there, because that Pokemon is just such a big part of my life. In case you couldn't tell, so it's like then Pikachu could always be with me. So that was my inspo, and that was in 2017. So then I was obviously like, gotta let the idea marinate, because you don't want to jump into a tattoo. I did not mean to let it sit for almost 4 years, but it was just because I never really took a very active like, oh, I should go get this right now. It was just always like, if the opportunity to get a tattoo arises, I will jump on it, and I will get that. So, short answer, I have wanted this specific tattoo for almost 4 years. The end. And then for you?
Pokemon. Oh yeah. I've never really like thought about getting a tattoo or really wanting a tattoo
Mm-hmm.
for like ever because part of it is that I have gotten it drilled into my head by people like my parents and other adults being like, "Oh, tattoos are like really gross." Like,
Like
you know how it's like there's
unprofessional.
such a yeah, like there's just a stigma against tattoos. So I was like, okay, like
Mm-hmm.
oh, kind of whatever about it. But then like I just really like the flower from Hadestown, like all the design and everything. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought about it and I was like, I think if I tattooed this on my skin, it would look cool. And then I figured out color tattoos were a thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh.
Yes.
So I got the red Hadestown flower. Cause I think like over time that musical has grown like very near and dear to me. Cause
Mm-hmm.
like one like Filipino representation. Two, I think it has just awakened like middle school me and my gravitation towards Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And three, I just also really like the message of Hadestown and all of its very deep and I don't know, like Hadestown just has to me is like the like a masterpiece of art and storytelling that I feel like I have to commemorate in some way. As if I don't already own so much like Hadestown memorabilia that I
Yes.
decided to just get it on my skin.
What a stand.
I got the tattoo also. So I got it like the red flower with a black outline. I got it on my right wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like part of the reason I got it on my wrist is because like in the show the main character like pulls out a flower out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think like for me it's like oh it's like me showing that but like on it's like on my hand or on my arm
Mm-hmm.
and it's supposed to be a whole thing of like oh you're like spreading like life and love to
Mm-hmm.
other people so I'm like yeah I'm gonna put it here then and that will mean that
Wow. What a
yeah
deep meaning.
so I got that. I don't think compared to Madison I didn't think about it for 4 years but like I don't even know like whenever Hadestown came out which is not that long ago
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it is that I've been thinking about it like long enough, which was probably for about a year and a half to 2 years, where I was like, yeah. So that I just decided to like go for it and get it. So it was like Madison, me, and then my boyfriend Dion.
I know, what a chaotic
All
trio.
all all wanted a tattoo. So we were like looking for a place. The three of us all wanted a tattoo. Like we wanted to go get it together, but we weren't getting the same tattoo because we are all individuals.
Yeah. But we did get it
So
all
we
in
were
the
like
same, like, general
the same
place. Because
place.
he got one on
Yeah.
his wrist, too.
Yeah, so like my boyfriend got on his right wrist a very like minimalist design of Aang's glider from Avatar,
Mm-hmm.
which it looks very clean, looks very
Yeah, the
nice.
lines are so nice.
Me and Madison were doing research to like find a tattoo place
Mm.
because I feel like a lot of our friends, like the friends that who did get tattoos, kind of paid a lot of money
Yeah.
for theirs.
Like,
I
I
don't
knew
know how
going
far.
in it was gonna be expensive, but some people definitely went places where I was like, okay, that's a little bit more expensive than I would go for
Yeah.
something like if I was going for something
Mm-hmm.
really complicated and I already know it was gonna be like a gazillion dollars, then I could see like, okay,
Right.
go to those places, but
Yeah, but we found this place in El Monte because my sister got a tattoo before me, and she got it on a discount, and she got it on Good Friday. Amen to Jesus
oh,
Christ.
so they both were
Which,
having like skin trauma on the same day.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
nice.
But she got hers, and then when I looked at it, I was like, wow, that looks really good. And like her design was really simple. It's the heart from the BTS Love Yourself album. So
Mhm.
like looking at it, and it's like it's a very simple design, but looking at it, there's even like it tapers off at the end, and I was like, I didn't even know tattoos could
Yeah.
like do something like that. So I really was like, wow, this is like a really good quality tattoo. So I was like, okay, maybe we should just go for this place then. The three of us like booked our appointments and
Mhm.
then just
It
waited
was a very
for
chaotic process of booking it because we did it like a week and
yeah.
a half out.
Which like they were also like, oh, you could just walk in, and I was like, I don't know about that. Maybe we should just book our appointments first.
Yeah.
Cause it was the three of us, you know. It's like I feel like if it were just like one of us, I'd be like, yeah, we could just walk in. But for three
Mhm.
separate appointments,
Yeah,
like
it'll
three
take a
separate
while.
jobs, did take a while. And also, I think like I feel like I'd feel a lot more content being like sending a
Like
design
ahead of time.
beforehand.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they can like know exactly what they're gonna do instead of more so like, oh, like let me do this on the spot.
Yeah.
Cause like when I was looking up designs for my tattoo, I literally I remember like me and Madison were just online like looking up like Hadestown tattoos, and like they weren't like my favorite
You were
designs.
not inspired.
I wasn't like that. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, like these are okay. And like a lot of people did have the flower, but
It
it
was
was
like all
like a
extra.
yeah, it was like a weird like red. It was like a gradient of like reds and stuff because but I wanted mine to be like bright up, like straight up like bright red.
Mhm.
Like it didn't even like it doesn't even like look like a tattoo.
Yeah.
To be honest, it looks more like one of those like wash off tattoos.
Oh, and then also a
Yeah,
lot of the ones we
so
looked at too have like words
yeah,
around
and
it and
I
stuff. There was
like
just a lot going
yeah, I
on.
don't I was like, yeah, I'm not much of a word person. Like
Pick a
tattoos. Like
font.
I feel like images like I think this is just like the visual side of me saying things, but I feel like the image should speak for itself, you know, like I don't need extra words for
Mhm.
it. So I ended up like just looking up embroidery, being like, oh, is
Mhm.
there like a Hadestown like embroidered pattern? And I found
Ooh.
it. I found like a design that was like, oh, this is like actually what I'm looking for. So then I just like use that as a reference photo. I was like, can you just do this, but like on my skin?
Just translate that, and it worked.
Yeah, and then you also like sketched.
Oh
Didn't
no!
you
So
like
I
sketch
took
yours
it.
out?
I took their profile picture on the Pokemon Facebook page, and using Procreate like a real pro, I just magic wand tooled all the color out of it, and then filled the
Oh,
parts that
okay.
I wanted to be black in. So it's like the tips of his ears, and then like his eyes, and then like where in his mouth there was like there's a tongue, and then there's like the darker red part of the mouth. I made that black too. Then I was like, yep, okay.
Yeah, so we like sent in our designs, and then the tattoo artist gave us a quote for like how much it would be, and then we're like, okay.
Hmm.
And then we just had to wait for our appointment, which was like last Saturday.
Yeah, it was like 5 days ago. So now we are
Yeah,
healing.
yeah, and so we went to the place. We went to Baron Art Tattoo. I don't know how much advertisement this will give them, but
Yeah, they were
I
great.
would recommend that place.
Yeah,
Like
it was
they were
really chill.
really yeah.
Yeah, the only unfortunate part, and this isn't them, this is the pandemic, is we couldn't sit with each other while we were getting it done.
Yeah.
So we had to like stand and wait outside the place. And it
Yeah.
was
So
like on a
like one
strip
by
mall.
one.
So we're
Yeah, it
just
was like in a
standing
strip
out
mall.
the window looking in like stalkers.
Yeah, it was a strip mall. It was like also I think it is an Asian owned business because
Mm-hmm.
all of them were Asian
Yeah.
tattoo artists, and like to be honest, like all of them were like really like the vibe was really chill, but also all of the people looked really cool.
Yeah. Like
Like
they all had really
I
cool
just
tattoos.
I didn't want to say anything dumb because like these
Yeah.
people just gave off such a cool vibe where I was like, wow,
Yeah. Like
okay.
they knew what they're doing. They know their
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah, so like whoever like if they weren't doing any like if they weren't tattooing anything on someone, like they were like just drawing.
Yeah, or I saw one person was like, it looked like they were practice tattooing on a piece of fabric. And I was
Oh,
like,
okay,
oh,
yeah.
okay, I guess you have to practice somehow.
My boyfriend went first, so me and Madison were
I
just
was like,
waiting
yeah, you can go
outside.
first, bye.
Yeah. And I like
Well, because I thought his was going to be the fastest, but I feel like his was the longest.
I feel like yours might have been the fastest
Yeah,
actually.
like mine felt like it was the fastest. I think mine was like 20 minutes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But I wanted to say, like, when we were talking outside, because I know, like, while we were waiting for time to pass, we were talking about, like, oh, like, if you studied, like, art or animation or something, like, if you just transition into being, like, a tattoo artist or,
Mm-hmm.
like, designing tattoos that you
Yeah.
could then, like, give to an artist to be like, can you do this on skin?
Yeah, because it's like, because I've known, like, I had a friend at LMU who was like, she did a lot of stick and poke tattoos, and she's also an art major, so, like, she would do that. And then I've also known, like, artists who, like, if you want, you can commission them just to design, like, a certain tattoo. Like, if I said, oh, I want
Mm-hmm.
this Pikachu tattoo with, like, all the specific stuff, I could have taken that idea to, like, a digital artist and been like, can you, like, design this as a tattoo? And then they would, like, do whatever. And then also, like, I do follow one other tattoo artist on Instagram from a completely different studio in Long Beach. I don't remember why I started following her, but she's like Asian American, specializes in like Pokemon and anime tattoos. So she's always posting her work there and also just her digital art too. So it's like there's definitely a lot of overlap there.
The tattoo artists that we had, like specifically, I think one of their specializations was in anime
Mm-hmm.
tattoos. So
So I was like, okay, she knows what
it's
Pikachu
perfect for
is. I was
Madison.
like, as long
Yeah.
as everybody knows what Pikachu is, and then like the other worker came over and was like, "It's Pikachu," and I was like, "Yes."
Yeah. Yeah, so we waited one by one, and then my boyfriend came out, and then I went in next. And
Uh-huh.
I was like really nervous. I feel like you noticed it
Oh, I
when
noticed
you
it the
were
whole
on this
day.
going.
I
Yeah.
noticed it from the moment you got in my
Well,
car. Because I was also nervous.
because I remember a lot of people around me were asking me, like, oh my gosh, are you excited for your tattoo? And I think, like, I just naturally just, like, didn't want to remember it
I
because
know.
then it would, like, give me more anxiety being like, oh my gosh, a needle is about to just, like,
Yeah.
put, like, ink into my skin. So the thought of it was like, oh, I don't want to think about that, like, creeping up on me, like, day by day. So I
Yeah.
didn't think about it too much until the actual day.
Same.
Um,
Like I
yeah, so
barely
I
I
would,
barely like told anybody that this was happening
yeah.
because I didn't want to have to go through the whole conversation with people. Eat one again and again and again and have to work through the
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm getting a tattoo. Yes, it makes me nervous. Yes, this and that. I just have to tell every person over and over, and I was just like, I don't
Yeah.
want to think about it.
Yeah, which like I'm not like afraid of needles or anything,
Same.
but it's just kind of the thought of like there is a thing that is going to pierce through your skin,
Yeah,
you
and it's
know?
like confirmed, canon confirmed to be painful.
Yeah. So I
And
was just
it's
like,
like,
okay, not to
and
think about
like
it.
then there's always the risk of what if it looks bad?
So going back to my experience, so
Yes.
like the tattoo artist like got a stencil and like look so I was able to like picture it on my wrist, and I was originally going to get a 1.5 by 1.5 size of the tattoo, but then I looked at my wrist and I was like, oh, my wrist is actually really
It's
small.
so
Like
tiny.
I measured my wrist and it is less than 2 inches, and I was like 1.5 inches isn't gonna work, so I went down to 1 inch, and it ended up being the perfect size.
Yes.
So once like we decided on the size, she like stenciled it onto my wrist,
Hmm.
and then like clean, put alcohol in the
Yeah,
arm
the
to make sure it
whole
was all
the
clean.
process.
Yeah, yeah. And then I laid down and then had my arm out ready to just be like, okay, like just start so I
Mhm.
don't have to keep like agonizing myself over like wondering what this pain is gonna be.
Mhm.
Because also people are like, oh, the pain's not too bad, like a 6 out of 10. Like, I cannot, I, like, when people say that, I'm like, cannot envision or, like, imagine what that pain is still. Like, that still doesn't give me really any indication
Yeah, and also
of
because it's
it.
so
And also, like,
subjective.
yeah, and it's also, like, I feel like I have, like, a pretty good pain tolerance, but that still doesn't give me any indication of what the pain will be like.
Mhm.
So I was just like, just start, just like, I was just like,
Yeah,
in my
just
head, I
do
was
it.
like, okay, like, just do it so I just know what it will feel like. And like, I remember, like, she was right, she was ready to like pierce the skin, and then she would stop and be like, oh my God, I forgot to do something. And she did that like 3 or 4 times. So I was like, in my head, I was like, oh my God, like, she keeps going back. But finally, she started piercing skin. She's like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Yes." And I think she also sensed how nervous I was, and she was like, "Is this your first tattoo?" And I was like, "Yes, it is." And then she started, and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay, this isn't too bad." And she was starting the outline first of the flower, like so it was black ink,
Mhm.
and it didn't feel too bad. Like she would pick up the pen, and then the pain would go be gone and then put it back, and I'd be like, yeah, this feels like a cat scratch. So at the time I was like, this is like a 4 out of 10, like this isn't too bad.
Mhm.
The pain started when it came to the shading because I said I wanted it in color,
Yeah.
which she also gave me a choice in the color. She presented me with 3 different shades of red,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, okay. And it was one was like kind of like a darker like burgundy color, and I was like, this is too dark for me.
Mhm.
And then one that was like bright red, like MAGA hat red, and
Oh,
I was like, ooh, this is too bright. So I went for the one in the
the
middle, which
middle
I think
one.
was like a pretty good. Yeah, it was like American Rose. So I was like, yeah, it's fine.
Wow.
Once the shading happened, I was like, "Ooh, this pain is getting worse because, it's like when you like if you just imagine, like coloring a space, with a crayon. It's like
Yeah.
exactly that with a tattoo, but like a needle instead. So, it's like the tattoo artist kept was shading in the color, and I was just like, "Ooh, she's in the same space for a long time." I'm like starting
Yeah.
to really feel it now. It gets like I started to really feel it. Like I'd probably give it like a 6 or 7 pain right when she was going towards the middle of the wrist because now there's bone, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Ooh, this is kind of hurting."
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is a very intense cat scratch." I don't know.
It's like cat attack at that point.
Yeah, but I did not want to look at it like as she was doing it because I feel like the visual of just seeing the needle pierce through your skin, I feel like would add to the pain, I
To the
think, for me.
psychological.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, I'm just not gonna look. I'm gonna close my eyes. And I was like, I was pretty much like vibing for the whole time. Like they had the music on. Like the other tattoos artists would come and see, and I'd be like, oh my God, do you think my tattoo's lame?
Are they judging
Cause
it?
yeah, cause they were like speaking another language, which is like I don't mind anyway. I was like, oh, it's pretty chill. Like they're playing music, I'm just listening to
Mhm.
it. And every time the tattoo artist went to go, refill the pen or whatever, I would like look at it for progress. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's turning red. Not like bleeding, like it's like getting there. It's like bright red. And then she finally finished, and then I looked at it. I was like, whoa, this is really cool.
Mhm.
She was like, okay, go look at the mirror, how it looks. And I looked at it, and I was like, whoa, I really like it. And then I remember I showed you and Dion like while you were outside, and I just remember hearing like a
It
whoa.
was very
But yeah, I
cool.
was yeah, I was super happy with it. And then she put the clear shield on and gave me all of the aftercare instructions.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know how else to describe my tattoo. Like I said, like I feel like there's a certain I mean, obviously there's a certain stigma around tattoos, but there's also I feel like a certain look that tattoos give off. And
Mhm.
like I said, my tattoo doesn't really look like a tattoo because of the color, and also I think she used kind of like a finer tip, like a needle, so it kind of has a little bit more detail to it. Where I'm
Mhm.
like, wow, this looks more like I don't know. To
It
me,
looks
it
like
looks
a
more.
drawing.
Yeah, it looks like clean. To me, it looks like clean and like actually really nice.
Mhm.
on my skin, so I was like, I'm pretty happy with it. Like, I don't think it looks unprofessional. If anything, it like adds to like the
Yes.
personality that I have.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah. So then I finished. I was like, oh my God, thank God it's done. And then Madison was next.
Yeah, you guys made me go last. Or I just didn't, I was not very fast to be like, I'll go. So I ended up going
Yeah.
last. And so I was standing out there for like 2 hours. And I was like, my legs are so tired.
Oh yeah. I think mine's took about, how long did mine take?
Yours felt like, I don't know, like maybe like half an hour or so.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it felt like that, but it felt quick because I thought it was going to take longer than Dion's.
Mm.
But it felt like it did
Yeah, I
not
thought it was
take.
gonna take an hour.
Yeah, it did not. It didn't feel like it took as long as his. So,
Okay.
yeah, so then I went. I was also very nervous because I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I like commitment and being like, this is gonna be permanent, but okay, just go for it. And then, yeah, mine was like, because I'm used to being scratched by a cat. So when she started on me, I was like, okay, yeah, this feels like Queso's just scratching me or something. But whenever she went in the middle, especially when she was coloring, I was like, or shading or whatever, I was just like, oh no, this is a lot
Well, like
worse.
what needed to be shaded in on your
So for
tattoo?
Pikachu, the tips of his ears are black, and then like his eyes are black, and then his mouth has the black part. So the parts that were in the center of my wrist that needed to be shaded were his eyes and his mouth. Though even like the tips of his ears, even though that was more to the side, that also still hurt. I was like, this is not pleasant. Like I would say before that, like all the line stuff was like a 5 or a 6 maybe, and then it was the shading. I was like, oh god, this is actually painful.
Yeah.
So I was glad it would be like
Yeah.
just a couple seconds at a time because of having to refill or whatever. I don't know how it works, but like that whole thing. So and then originally I was gonna watch her do it because like I'm one of those people where when I get blood drawn, I just like watch it because I'm like, oh, look at the blood glow. Like I'll watch it shot. I'll watch my blood get drawn because I'm not super squeamish about it. But for this, I couldn't even like see what she was doing really. 'Cause she had to like she has to hold the skin to like flatten it. So like her other hand was like blocking what the needle was doing. So I was like, okay, well now I'm just watching nothing if I watch that. So I looked at the ceiling most of the time and just tried to do a breathing exercise that a doctor taught me last year. So then when I was doing my breathing exercise, since I'd be focusing on counting to like time out my breaths, that helped because then that distracted me. And then also like a bunch of people I think came in like when I was going because I heard them. And then this dude came with a ton of tattoos all over his body. He came and like
Yeah.
sat at the station next to me and he was just like chilling and doing his thing and he was like gonna get it on a new one on his like back or somewhere on his torso because
Yeah,
he took his whole
yeah.
shirt off.
He pulled up in his Jeep, and then the workers opened the door being like, "Oh, how you doing?" And I was like, "This guy's a regular."
He was
That's
yeah,
really
I got those
cool.
vibes. So he came and sat over there and he was like so chill and he was just doing his own and I was just watching him. I was like, I probably look like such a stalker, but it's either this dude or the ceiling. So I will look at Tattoo Man. So then I watched the workers come and talk to the store regular, and then they were like looking at the tattoos on his legs just to be like, oh, that's like cool or whatever. And then like he was taking off his shirt, and they were like doing their thing. And then I don't even know what they were putting on him because then by the time that was happening, the artist was done with me, and I was like, oh, okay. But like since when she did the stencil thing, because Pikachu had some like smaller details, it didn't all like transfer. So like Pikachu's nose, which is basically just a dot, was like not on there. Since she asked me when she was done, she was like, "Do you want the dot and up for the nose?" And I was like, "Yeah." So then she added that, and then I was done, and then I was pretty much like cool with it. I didn't realize until getting the tattoo how like the skin works because I've realized it's kind of hard to show it by like turning my wrist out towards someone because it's kind of low on my wrist. So I was kind of like, oh, I was not expecting that. But like if I'd gone any higher, one, it probably would have hurt more, and two, there's a lot of veins on my left wrist, like right in the upper part of my wrist. So I feel like it would have made it look kind of ugly if I'd done that. So honestly, good on my part. And also, like, after I dropped you and Dion off later, which I know was skipping kind of ahead in the story, when I was first alone after we had this whole thing, I had my first, like, a good 20 minutes of panic of, like, oh my god, I just put something on my body that's permanent, and, like, what if it doesn't look that good when it heals? And, like, also because it's, like, because I've, like, drawn Pikachu so many times in my life, and I've watched so much Pokemon stuff, and, like, looking at it, it's like, when someone's, like, gonna put it on your body, like, your skin is constantly, it's alive, it's moving, it's not gonna look exactly like a two-dimensional image, so it's really hard, and I'm a perfectionist in general, too, so it's really hard for me to, like, chill that side of my brain, so I could just be like, oh my gosh, this tattoo is really cool, because then parts of my brain were trying to be all, like, oh my gosh, like, it doesn't look like Pikachu enough, or it looks like it's not, like, whatever, or it doesn't look exactly 100% perfect, and it's like, I was just like, you know what, it's on my skin, like, it's not gonna be this, like, perfect two-dimensional drawing that I see, like, when I play or watch Pokemon, because it's literally on my living, breathing skin, and so, it took me a little bit to, like, get over that initial, like, oh my god, I just did this, and, like, I don't know, is this what I wanted? And, like, really, like, second-guessing myself and all that. But as the days followed, I was kind of like, you know what? I really like this, and I'm really glad we did that.
Okay.
So,
Well, I kept looking at mine, and I was like, oh my god, it's so red.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot miss it.
Yeah, but it looks so cool.
Yeah, no, it looks really cool.
But it's definitely very, like, whoa, gonna spot that.
Well, it's like, if ever I, like, am being, like, hunted down by the police or something, and they're like, can you give a description?
They're gonna be like,
and someone's like, oh, she's got a red tattoo on her right. It's like, you cannot miss me.
Yeah, that'll be for sure. But it adds to, it's very in character for you.
Yeah, it adds.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think part of me, I was just looking at it, I was like, wow, I can't believe this is, like, on my skin now.
Forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never committed to anything super long term, so, or very few times.
Well,
so.
Yeah, well, it's like, I didn't think about it the whole thing of, like, forever about it, because I feel like I was trying to, like, part of getting this tattoo was me trying to, like, destigmatize, like, everything my parents have been telling me, being like, tattoos don't look good, like, it looks nasty on you, but every time I look at it, I'm like, this looks really pretty, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, honestly, and then
so,
every time I look at mine, I'm just like, this is really cool.
Yeah, like, yours looks really cool, too, and it's like, I don't feel like, I feel like there's such a bad association with tattoos that, like, I like, if I were to look at you and I saw your tattoo, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, like, she's really scary looking.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. And also another thing that helped me too in the days following was this person I follow on TikTok who's from the Taylor Swift fandom, so on Swift Talk. She has, like, a lot of tattoos on her body, and so she was doing a tattoo tour. She mostly has them on, like, her, like, forearms, like, both of her forearms. She doesn't have a full sleeve, but she just has, like, just random things that she likes that she just got tattooed on different parts of her forearm and both parts, and then, like, also one on her ankle and one on her back. So then she was, like, going through each one and showing it, and she was like, yeah, I got this just because I thought it looked cute, or I just got this just because, right? And I was like, it really is only as serious as you make it out to be, or, like, as big of a deal as you make it out to be. And it's like, because it's like this whole thing of, like, it's permanent, it has to have all this deep meaning, it has to do, like, this and that. It's like, you can get something just because also. I mean, I still think you should wait some time before you, like, commit to it. But, like, even if it's just thinking, oh, I would like to get something like this, not because it has a deep meaning to me, but because it's just, I think it would look cool. And then you just get it, like, later on.
At the end of the day, it's, like, your body, so, like, you can do whatever you want with it, so.
Yeah, but then it was, like, so seeing her, like, talk about it so casually and just being like, yeah, I just got this because I liked it, or just, like, she doesn't have, like, a fully organized sleeve or anything. It's just a bunch of different things that just happen to be on her forearm. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, that's cool. I can just think about it like that, too. Okay. Anyway, so that jumped ahead in the story. Because then we had our victory after we were done. Oh, yes. We had our fine dining at In-N-Out. Oh, wait.
Well, we have to backtrack because it was a time trying to find an In-N-Out to eat at.
The chaos did not end.
We were in El Monte. That's where the tattoo parlor was. So we were like, okay, let's go get In-N-Out. And so Madison was like, oh, I have to pee. So we want, because, like, when you think of In-N-Out, it's indoors and there's a bathroom.
Yeah, because they got people traveling who stop at In-N-Out. So they have to keep the bathrooms open.
So Madison was driving, and we went to like the nearest in and out to the tattoo place, which was like nearby, like the San Gabriel Airport.
Uh-huh.
And so we get there, and then it's a
It's like
drive-through.
one of the like original, like how original In-N-Out was like a drive-in situation where you just drive through and there's no inside. Yeah, it was like literally like what you see in the
Yeah.
pictures, because sometimes they have pictures of that and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, so Madison was like, I need to pee. And
Yeah.
so my boyfriend was like looking through, being like, okay, let's find another one on like, like Apple Maps. So he found
Yeah.
another one, and then you found another one, and it ended up being in Rosemead.
Uh-huh.
So you're like, okay, it's like not far, let's go.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if like that one was also a drive-through and there was like not a bathroom? So
And it was the same
we
thing.
yeah, so we get to Rosemead and we were like, oh, it's also the same thing. There was a
There was
bathroom,
like an
but like,
outdoor bathroom, but there was no easy access into the parking lot.
yeah.
Like I drove
Oh
into
yeah,
a
because you
a
you
wrong
were like driving
around.
around into like back streets and stuff trying to get in.
And then I was like, no, 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 we're going to another one. I don't care. Also, because I was
Yeah,
like, if
and
the bathroom's like just straight to the outside, like the door, instead of being inside the building, it's probably gonna be kind of gross.
oh yeah, also Rosemead kind of had weird vibes. Like we were driving by and we saw that bus stop and there was a guy like doing pull up or he was doing like a handstand or
Yeah, it was
something. We
like
are like,
Spider
okay,
Man at the bus stop, and I was like, it's time
yeah.
to leave.
And so you were like, okay, so you parked to the side. Okay, you were like, okay, let's find one. And then you were like, Glendale. We're gonna go to Glendale.
Yeah. And then I was like, but we have to make sure it's not the Americana one, because then the Americana one just doesn't even have a drive through at all. It's in the Americana. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's like too much. And it was probably gonna be crowded anyway because this was like a Saturday night. So I was like, no, no, no. So then we ended up going to I think the In-N-Out that my family would always go to when we'd stay in Eagle Rock with my grandparents back when they used to live there. So it was a normal In-N-Out with a full on inside and a whole drive through. It was in the same parking lot as a buffet that claimed to be open. I don't know what that means, but we parked in the buffet parking and they did not care.
Yeah. And then we got our in and out and ate in Madison's car and just had a nice post tattoo
Hang out.
celebratory dinner.
Yes,
Yeah.
with our In-N-Out
Um,
shakes and our
yeah.
food.
Jumping to right currently what our tattoos look like because so we had this clear shield on, which is just like a bandage to make sure nothing dirty
Yeah.
gets on it or anything. So the tattoo artist told us to keep it on for like 4 days, so that 4 days was up yesterday.
Mhm.
So we took it off, and like for me, like I took it off. There was a little bit of stinging when I took it off, and I
Mm.
was like a little concerned because there was a lot of excess like red ink coming out of it. I was like, oh my gosh, but I think it's just like because like during those 4 days there was a lot of like a mix of blood and excess ink kind of mixing
Wow.
together that I could see like excess fluid. So I was like, okay, this is probably just this, I think, because it's not like there was liquid coming out because it was sealed.
Yeah.
So I took it off and I've been putting ointment as instructed by the tattoo artist, but now looking at it now, it looks kind of like dry and crusty and it's like scabbing, which they said was normal, but it just looks very like cracked. Like there's a lot of cracks on this tattoo, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna take some time to heal. And I
Yeah.
can see some of the skin, like some of the
The skin
dead skin
flakes.
starting to peel off. Yeah, and I'm like, ooh, I don't want to look at this too much.
Yeah, same with
If I look too
mine.
close to it, it looks a little concerning, but it's normal, as they said.
Yeah, like I took mine off yesterday too. And like washed it and like put the ointment. I think I put too much ointment on. I was like, whoops, but a lot of it came out of the package, so I was like, guess I'm just
Mm.
really lathering it on right now. But yeah, and then since then I've like showered also. Like I like also already use like sensitive skin soap and products like that anyway, because like I come from
Okay.
an eczema family, so I like really, when I washed it yesterday and in the shower, like both times, I like got soap and like super diluted it with water, like warm water. So it's
Mm.
like the thinnest soap ever, just to very carefully like put over it before I did like the ointment. And then since like last night, it's been like scabbing, which I had to Google what tattoo scabbing looks like because I was like, I just see a lot of like weird white skin flake things coming up, and I don't know what that is. And then I was like, oh, that's what the tattoo scabbing is. And then like sometimes it'll be like black flakes that come up, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's so weird. But I was like, oh, it's just the excess ink. And then I was also starting to get like freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, like some parts of it looks like it like looks all, since it's all crackly, I was like, did it stay? But then I'm like, oh yeah, it did. It's just the skin flakes
Yeah.
messing it all up. But I think it's supposed to take 7 to 10 days to be done.
I think mine is gonna take a little longer
Well,
because
I
it's
don't know
like
if the
it's
7
like a
to
whole
10
area.
Well, I don't know if the 7 to 10 days means from the day you got it or from the day we took the thing off.
Oh,
But
I don't know. I just foresee this taking a while because it's like because you got shading, but like since mine is like completely
yeah,
shaded
yours
in,
is a
and
lot.
like there's a whole lot more surface area
Like
that is
surface
covered.
area of ink is a lot more
Yeah.
than mine.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about getting a tattoo, like I would consider it.
Maybe this is your sign. And if you're not completely sure yet, it's fine. You can always just wait until the pandemic
Yeah.
restrictions are done so you can actually have somebody sit with you. Like, if I was
Yeah.
getting something that was really long, I totally would have, like, died of boredom and stress because I was
Mm-hmm.
alone. But, like,
Mm-hmm.
since this was so fast, it was like, okay. Maybe, I don't know where else or what else I would get a tattoo of, but I would not be opposed to getting one in the future.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it either. I'm apparently supposed to be getting a matching tattoos with my two sisters,
Ooh.
but I don't know if that will become a thing. But there is going to be a time because I think because I already said that one of my sisters got a tattoo before me, and now that me and my other sister have tattoos, my other sister is like, what? What?
I gotta
I
get
want
one.
one now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like maybe when the time comes, all three of us will just flash our tattoos to our parents, and they'll be like,
Yeah, well,
okay,
good luck hiding yours until then.
yeah, yeah, we'll see what
Stigmata.
happens.
Okay.
Yeah, stigma. I keep, because
Or
like,
wear like a sweatband.
yeah, for all those people who don't know stigmata, because I feel like I make jokes specifically about my tattoo because it's like red and on
No.
like the wrist,
I
like stigmata.
I wish I was whoever does not know what a stigmata is. I wish I was you.
Yeah. Yeah, now they're gonna know now on this podcast, but for all those non-Catholic people, stigmata is like the wounds of Jesus Christ on like the wrists that he
And the
got
feet.
and the feet when they drove the nails into his skin when he was on the cross, like to put him on the cross. And so like saints and like other holy people will like get it as like a miracle or like as
That's just like
a sign
terrible
of faith and
miracle.
devotion.
If I got
Yeah,
that,
so
I would
like
be like, no.
yeah, so like I would like joke. So I would sometimes joke and be like, "Oh my God, stigmata," because my tattoo is
It
like
looks
bright
like it,
red
kind
and it's
of.
like there. But I don't want to keep joking about it because maybe like God will like just look at me and be like, "Oh yeah, you keep joking about it. What if I actually gave you stigmata?" So like
Then
I'm
he will
kind of
give you
like,
an excuse.
no, no, no. I don't need stigmata. I don't want stigmata. I'm
When was the
okay.
last time anyone had the stigmata? Like Padre Pio?
I think it's Padre
It wasn't like
Pio.
100 years ago?
Yeah, it was a while. No, Padre Pio was like alive during it was recent, I think.
Okay, it
Not
was
like it
more
was
than
not 100
50
years
years
ago.
ago.
He was cuz he was alive I think during World War II.
That's still pretty long.
Yeah, but it's more recent.
It's like recent.
Like recent in terms of like church history.
I guess.
In terms of church
But
history,
has
that's
anybody in
recent.
the 21st century gotten the stigmata?
Well, I didn't even know saints were like existing in the 21st century, and now we have that saint who got the Italian saint website comp sci
Yes.
Super Mario video game lover saint.
Yes. And John Paul II, he wasn't born in the 21st century, but
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
he's becoming
he's a saint now.
blessed, canonized, whatever.
Yeah, canonized. Okay, well, in conclusion, I don't think I'm anywhere near the level of faith and devotion as a lot of these holy people, so I would not really like to have stigmata and would rather just have this tattoo.
Yeah. The pain
As
of getting a tattoo
this.
was enough of trauma to that area, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the takeaway.
Okay. Yeah, that's a takeaway. Okay, so like we can end it right here. Thank you everyone for listening to yet another episode of Pineapple Headache. Do you have any last words, Madison?
Getting a tattoo hurts more than a headache. Unless you got the
Okay, yeah.
tattoo on your head, would that give you a
Oh my
headache?
gosh. Me and Madison's next tattoo is actually going to be damaged across our foreheads
Like
because
Jared
we
Leto,
love Jared
Joker?
Leto in Suicide
What
Squad.
happens? Like, my whole arm was vibrating when they were doing the tattoo. So, if you get a tattoo on your head or your face, does your entire head just vibrate? How does the human body survive that?
I don't
It's like
know. Oh, you could
shaking,
ask Jared
they
Leto.
say, like, don't shake the baby, you don't want to shake the brain. So, how do you do that on your brain?
Oh my gosh. I wouldn't be surprised if Jared Leto actually got that damaged
Oh,
tattoo across his face
method
and then
acting?
removed it.
Oh, for
Yeah,
like
and then
method
removed it.
acting?
Yeah,
Oh, he
for the
would. He's so
pain,
weird.
for the masochism. Okay. Yeah, let's edit there on Jared Leto and his damaged tattoo.
I'm glad ours are better than that.
Well, would you consider Jared Leto's damaged tattoo to be a headache?
Yes, it looks like a headache was involved in the making of it.
Okay. Well, there you go. Madison said it. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Farewell.
Stigmata.
Okay, stigmata, yes. What if you got the stigmata tattooed on you? Okay, now that's a whole other thing.
No, 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 no. No. Okay, goodbye.
See you at the next headache.